Week 8 and MLS with Black Players for Change celebrated Juneteenth upon returning from the international break. There were new beginnings with the first ever home game for Austin. The end of an era as Columbus bid farewell to historic Crew Stadium. We begin though in California.
The LA Galaxy began the weekend third in the West and 3 points behind leaders the Seattle Sounders, who were aiming to extend an unbeaten start that already included a 3-0 victory over their hosts. Watching this one, Jonathan Beck.
Alvarez takes it on. Only two to aim for in the box. He's aimed for Chicharito, who turns and is caught from behind, and the referee says penalty. Foul by João Paulo. Referee Drew Fisher had no hesitation. It's clumsy from Seattle's Brazilian midfielder. A big chance then for Sacha Kljestan. And he takes it. Cool as you like. Rolled calmly into the bottom corner. And the home side have the lead. The first goal for Kljestan since the opening day winner at Inter Miami. Well, here's Brian Schmetzer's unbeaten start to the season with Seattle under threat here. It's João Paulo, who's over the free kick. Directed in towards Montero. And it's Montero who seizes on the loose ball, and Yeimar! Fine stop from Jonathan Bond. Got down really well. Yeimar left free at the far post. And it's a let-off for the Galaxy. João Paulo with the corner. In comes Yeimar! This time he makes his mark. The first goal of the season for the Colombian, and another assist for João Paulo. That's 5 now for the season. Yeimar through a crowd of players, but all the defenders made no difference. Break could be on here for the Galaxy, and it's being led by Julian Araujo. Brilliantly shaken off Shane O'Neill. Now is past Smith. And here is Chicharito. So close. The woodwork denies Chicharito. What a brilliant goal it would have been. It's Rowe with the throw in. The Pewers put it back the way it came. Rowe again. This is Alex Roldan. And a shot from Christian Roldan and put in by Rui Diaz. He just loves scoring against the Galaxy. 4 goals in his last 3 games against them. It's 7 for the season now for the Peruvian, and Seattle have turned the game around with a pair of goals either side of the break. Araujo. Field is Cabral. Kljestan to Vasquez. Overlapping here is Villafaña. Cleveland with a strong hand to push it away. And he's fortunate there's nobody in white to follow up. It is not going in for Greg Vanney at the moment. Koulibaly underneath it, but a loose header picked up by Rui Diaz, who spreads it out to Christian Roldan. There's a lot of space at the far post. Medranda, he's been found. Is this the moment? Great save from Bond. The left hand takes it round the post. That was the chance to finish it in stoppage time. Bond denies Seattle a third. It's finished here. The LA Galaxy 1, the Seattle Sounders 2.
Mental toughness is kind of a, it's a word that everybody uses. It's a catchphrase for a lot of things, mentality, all of that sort of stuff. But this team has it.
Sporting Kansas City entered the weekend a point behind Seattle as they travelled to the Sounders' Cascadia rivals Portland, who had a great chance to go in front as early as the 2nd minute. Jeremy Ebobisse kept out by Tim Melia. It's been a long 3 weeks for the Timbers, who lost 3-0 at the Philadelphia Union before the international break, and after Alan Pulido saw his effort charged down, the Mexican reacted quickest to keep the attack going. Jalen Lindsay, of all people, produced a fine finish. Only his second career goal as in-form SKC looked for a fourth win in 5. But that was only the start of the goal action in an entertaining first half. Portland were level when Dyer and Asprilla scored his first in 6 MLS games. And as the board went up in first half stoppage time, some calamitous SKC defending gifted Portland a second. Marvin Loria profited to bundle them in front. A wastefulness in front of goal has cost SKC dear in recent matches. Within a minute of the restart, Steve Clark saved well from Johnny Russell's deflected strike. One of 11 second-half efforts, having had 22 in one half in last week's draw with Austin, the 5th highest of any team in MLS history. And it should have been 2-2 in stoppage time. Pulido hit the side netting as more missed chances saw Sporting KC's 4-match unbeaten run ended.
The Colorado Rapids came into their game in Cincinnati on a great run of 4 wins in the last 5 games. And 20 minutes in, Diego Rubio put them on the way to another victory, thanks to persistent work from Michael Barrios, who's emerged as a star in recent weeks, with 2 goals and now 3 assists in his last 4 games. The home side's recent record was the exact opposite of their opponents, 4 defeats and just 1 win since opening with a draw at Nashville. And sub Jonathan Lewis's goal, 20 minutes from time, ensured a 3rd straight defeat at their new TQL stadium. A first-capacity crowd couldn't help Cincinnati produce a comeback, as the Rapids keeper William Yarbrough recorded his 4th clean sheet. And when he was beaten by Alfaro Barreal, the crossbar came to his rescue. They kept going right into stoppage time, but failed to score for the 4th time in their 7 outings. Substitute Jurgen Locadia also finding his path to goal blocked. Another frustrating performance for Jaap Stam's men, who remained bottom of the East. The win saw Robin Fraser's visitors snatch 3rd in the West.
On the other side of the Rocky Mountain divide, Real Salt Lake played host to opposition in familiar surroundings. The Vancouver Whitecaps, who'd been using Rio Tinto Stadium as their temporary home. Anderson Julio couldn't beat Maxime Crepeau as Vancouver struggled with the RSL fans on their back. And by half-time, they returned to the slightly less familiar away dressing room with work to do. A delightful touch from Albert Ruznak, and Damir Krajlak continued his stellar scoring streak from attacking midfield. 3 goals in 3 games for the Croatian, but each of the last 3 matches had ended in draws. And that feeling was returning early in the second half, when Justin Glad's clearance was pounced on by Javain Brown. A pinpoint cross for Brian White to equalise, a debut goal for the recent New York Red Bulls recruit. It could have been even better for the Whitecaps had this Andy Rose header gone in. But having lost their last 3 matches, Vancouver started to sit deeper and deeper, and they were punished in added-on time.
Headed towards the far post, and in! RSL has it! The go-ahead goal in stoppage time!
Eric Holt's first in MLS, and there was still time for Krajlak to make it 5 goals in 6.
Header down, and in! 3-1! Krajlak the brace! That's the dagger, and RSL will take all 3 at home tonight!
LAFC and the Houston Dynamo both came into this on the back of defeats to New York City FC and Sporting KC respectively. A bright start from the home side culminated in Diego Rossi striking the post on 10 minutes, but that proved the best chance of a quiet first half. It was LAFC that began the second period looking in the mood too, with midfielder Jose Cifuentes taking aim from the edge of the box. Keeper Marko Maric proved equal to this. But from the resulting corner, the Ecuadorian was left all alone to score from much closer range.
It's Cifuentes on the back post who turns in. His shot forced the corner, and he profits from it.
The lead proved a short-lived one. Up to this point, Houston hadn't found an effective way to break through. However, this dart from Fafa Pico saw Maxi Urruti score for the 3rd game in a row. 5 now for him this season, and no clean sheet for LAFC since the opening weekend. The hosts had a late flurry of chances, Cifuentes setting up Rossi for the best of them. But the Uruguayan couldn't hit the target, meaning a 2nd consecutive draw between these two, who are now 9th and 7th in the West respectively.
A meeting of the bottom two in the Western Conference, but recent form have been very much in favour of Minnesota United. Having lost their opening 4, they arrived in Dallas unbeaten in 3, and when Jimmy Maurer could only parry Adrian Onu's shot, Franco Fragapane followed up to score in his debut. Adrian Heath says he has big expectations of the Argentine forward. The first capacity crowd of the season at Toyota Stadium were restless. Ricardo Pepi was kept out by the leg of Tyler Miller, but the 18-year-old wouldn't be denied.
1-2 combination play there between Hollingshead and Ferreira, now in the box, shot, goal, Ricardo Pepi! With
this, the first of 3 home matches in their next 4, FC Dallas should have been in the ascendancy, but Minnesota had the best chances to win it. Manuel Reynoso was off target as he looked to repeat his compatriot's first half feat. And even though Dallas have now gone 5 games without a win, it could have been a whole lot worse in stoppage time. Ethan Finlay picked out Reynoso, who couldn't conjure a winner.
Staying in Texas, and a landmark occasion in the short history of Austin FC, as Matthew McConaughey helped build the pre-match atmosphere for the inaugural game in their new Q2 stadium against the San Jose Earthquakes. Many of the home players said they felt energised by the occasion, which was also the debut of top-flight professional sport in the city. And on 9 minutes, Diego Fagundes nearly sent the capacity crowd of almost 21,000 into raptures. Sitting just a point and 2 places above their opponents in the Western Conference, the Quakes were in need of some respite after 4 straight defeats. Argentine midfielder Christian Espinoza nearly provided it. Austin FC showed the necessary creativity and commitment, but the goal the home fans craved wouldn't come, as JT Marcinkowski saw off chances like this for Finnish midfielder Alex Ring. Even the Quakes coach, Matias Almeida, was moved by the occasion, calling it a day of football joy. But he was also denied the joy that he was looking for when sub Carlos Fierro failed to beat Brad Stuver as the final 10 minutes approached. Austin FC's keeper was arguably their man of the match, and he ensured they didn't suffer an opening defeat in the new home, keeping out this header from Osvaldo Alanis in the final minute of normal time to send the home fans away relatively happy. Atlanta United. Unbeaten at home and fine-tuning Gabriel Heinz's possession-based game.
It's a great ball, a fabulous goal, and it's Eric Lopez for his very first goal in Major League Soccer.
Jim Curtin's Philadelphia Union, yet to lose away, and one of the toughest teams to crack in MLS.
Quick shot, goal, Union lead!
Commentary comes from Sam Parkin and Phil Blacker.
There's Bedoya in towards Sergio Santos, and Guzan is required to make the save. Got down smartly enough. Anthony Fontana with the opportunity. This is Shabilko. Away from Walks to drive it goalwards. Guzan gets a hand. And Sousa is just able to smuggle it away before Flop could pick up the pieces.
Shabilko, you can't allow him in field. It's far too easy to come in there. Guzan is bright down to his right.
Brooks Lennon to take. Oh, and it's glanced all the way in. An own goal, I think. Atlanta have forced themselves in front against Philadelphia from the corner kick, but it looked like it came off the Union player.
Takes a nick, doesn't it? Certainly Robinson gets a little glance on the ball, and Shabilko just cannot react in time. It's in the far corner before they know it.
Jamiro Montero over the free kick for Philly into this closing quarter of an hour. Looking for Glesnes, who rises well. Guzan grabs it and keeps it in.
Not much pace on that delivery, but he attacks it brilliantly. Guzan has to make the save, he's not sure.
Lennon sizing up the corner kick. By Brooks Lennon. Glanced clear as far as Barco. Lennon will get another go on the right boot this time. It's a really dangerous ball, that will surely settle it. Anton Walks has scored. The centre-back on the end of it. A second goal against the Union, and surely a big win here for the Five Stripes.
Look at that delivery. May take a slight nick off the head of Burke, but it's a towering header. Walks up early, flies into the net.
It was about this stage of the game in the previous match against Nashville, where they conceded very swiftly a 2-goal lead. Have the Union got anything by way of a response? Jamiro Montero, that took a deflection as well. Burke following up. And the response is almost instant from the Union. It got away from Guzan, and immediately it's game on again.
Montero gets a strike away. Guzan for once spills it into a dangerous area, and Burke just gobbles it up.
And Bizo has been dispossessed by George Bello. Now Lennon. Torres in support. Bello's continued his run as well and gets it back here. George Bello brings the save from Blake.
Bello, good precision on the strike. That's a good stop from Blake.
There's Bedoya. Montero. Glesnes. Setting his sights. Oh! It's stunning! An incredible goal and an equalising goal from Jacob Glesnes. Breathtaking in its significance and its execution. It's 2-2 in added time.
That is just outstanding. It doesn't get better than that, I'm afraid. What a finish. Brad Guzan hasn't got an absolute prayer as he dives to his right. What a goal.
An incredible equalising goal in added time from Jacob Glesnes, rescuing a point for the Philadelphia Union. It ends at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Atlanta United 2, Philadelphia Union 2.
The New England Revolution are the pace-setters in the East, and they were at Red Bull Arena. If it's entertainment and drama you're after, New York City FC are your team. It didn't take long before the first big moment in this game. Andrew Farrell's foul on Jesus Medina, and Bruce Arena's side were facing a penalty. Tati Castellanos stepped up, but Matt Turner guessed right. The goalkeeper would have a big say in this one. Castellanos scored in NYCFC's first 4 games, but has failed to score since. Turner saved bravely again before the Argentine was adjudged to have handballed. Ronnie Dyler's look of concern was well-founded as the Revs put their foot on the gas in some style.
And on the full volley, and it's in! What a strike by Gustavo Bou!
It's been a weekend of debut goals to remember, and what a moment for 20-year-old Brazilian Thiago Andrade to make it 1-1. Carles Hill has played a big part in the New England Revolution's strong start to the year, top of the assist charts in MLS and provider of John Bell's first goal. Back came New York City, and even though Andrade was kept out by Matt Polster, Ismail Tajuri-Shradi equalised again. But I mentioned drama and entertainment. NYCFC have conceded a late winner and scored a late winner in their 2 games before the break. Just 3 minutes later, they fell behind once more. Adding insult, their former player Tommy McNamara turned it in against the franchise where he'd spent 3 years. New York City FC weren't giving up on this game. Tajuri-Shradi and Medina were both denied in unconventional fashion by the recently capped US international. Not for the first time this season, Turner produced a match-winning performance for the Revs.
What a save by Matt Turner! And that may be the difference between a win and a draw for the New England Revolution.
The previous night at Red Bull Arena, unbeaten Nashville were the visitors as the hosts looked to continue their strong home form. The Red Bulls' Polish striker Patrick Klimala made his second start, but couldn't cap it with a first MLS goal to put Gerhard Struber's men in front. He had to make do with an assist instead, as his strike partner Fabio was the one to break the deadlock.
Fabio shooting, scores! Rips it off the post, and there's his first in MLS!
3 of the Red Bulls starting 11 were celebrating call-ups to Greg Berhalter's provisional US squad for next month's Gold Cup. The uncapped Frankie Amaya and Caden Clark, as well as Kyle Duncan, who was the one to double their lead 10 minutes into the second half. This was familiar territory for Nashville. 2 goals from Hani Mukhtar had brought them back from 2-0 down against Atlanta United last time out, but he couldn't repeat his heroics here. Gary Smith's side had come back from 2-0 down 3 times already this season, but this proved a step too far. Dax McCarty with the final chance, as their unbeaten start was finally ended. It's 4 straight home wins now for the Red Bulls.
An unusual quirk for Orlando City, playing away at their home stadium, so there were no home fans of Toronto FC to silence when Tesho Akindele put Orlando ahead in Florida after just 49 seconds. He scored the winner when these sides met here less than a month earlier. But while that game ended 1-0, this was far more open. Akindele was involved again in a bizarre moment that doubled Orlando's lead. Quentin Westberg getting into trouble when he was closed down, and Akindele teed up Nani to head in his 4th goal in 5 games. However, with only 10 minutes on the clock, the game had its 3rd goal. Toronto back in it, despite the best efforts of Brandon Austin to keep out Richie Larea's shots. Last season's joint top scorer, Ayo Akinola, making it 2-2 after a slow start to the year. And after a slow start to this game, Toronto were level before half-time. Larea and Alejandro Pozuelo combining for Jonathan Osorio to arrive unmarked. Spanish playmaker Pozuelo was showing why he was the MLS MVP last year, almost producing a wonder strike to turn the game on its head. Orlando had their own player of considerable value returning for his first appearance since a highly successful loan at English side Barnsley, but it wasn't Daryl Dike who provided the winner. Instead, Junior Urso's goal ensured his side bounced back from their first defeat of the season against the New York Red Bulls last time out. Although it should have been 3-3, Pozuelo again the provider, but Dom Dwyer was horribly off target. One of the misses of the season by a player signed from Orlando just last month.
Orlando's Floridian neighbours Inter Miami faced DC United for the 2nd game in a row, having lost 3-0 at home to them just before the international break. Ola Kamara got 2 of those and was close to grabbing one here on the stroke of half-time. The visitors responded with their best chance less than a minute later. Bill Hamid denying Breck Shea in a lively end to the first half. But things started to go wrong for Phil Neville's men early in the second, when Brazilian midfielder Gregory picked up his 2nd yellow card for this clumsy challenge on Kevin Paredes, just 8 minutes after his first caution. They were already without designated players Gonzalo Higuain and Rodolfo Pizarro, and just inside the final 20 minutes they were also facing a penalty, when a header from Brendan Hines-Ike struck Christian Makoun on the arm. Kamara stepped up to slot his 4th goal of the season, 3 of those coming in the last 2 outings. Miami ended the game with 9 men after Ryan Shawcross was sent off for this neck-high challenge on Joseph Moura, who'd only been on the field a minute. A busy night for referee Fotis Pasakos, who also produced 6 yellow cards. Back-to-back wins for DC United, but it's 3 straight defeats without a goal for Inter Miami.
To our final game, and an emotional occasion as the Columbus Crew played their final ever MLS match at historic Crew Stadium. The international break had come at the wrong time for Caleb Porter's side, having won both matches before it. The MLS Cup holders picked up where they left off.
Zardes bangs it in!
Jazi Zardes following up his first of the season last time out. Ominous for the Chicago Fire, who's still yet to win on the road in the 2020s.
Etienne, across for Jazi Zardes, gonna roll it in!
Not only a great way to sign off at their home of 22 years, Columbus are building momentum after a patchy start. Derek Etienne did his best to help Zardes to a hat-trick. Just 1 win in 8, Chicago a joint bottom of the East. Francisco Calvo's header was the closest they came. The Fire's coach, Raphael Wicki, might be starting to feel the heat. But it was a perfect ending for the Crew, who bid farewell to their old home, the first ever soccer-specific stadium to be built in MLS. They now move to their new $300 million venue near downtown Columbus. Their first games on July the 3rd.
That win for Columbus lifts the champions up 2 places to 4th in the East, while Orlando leapfrogged Philadelphia into 2nd. New England have extended their lead at the top to 5 points.
In the West, it's now a 4-point gap separating unbeaten Seattle in first and SKC in second. Colorado are up to third, and RSL's win against Vancouver has pushed them into the playoff positions.
We'll leave you with the finale at historic Crew Stadium, a place Columbus called home for 22 years.
A cross for Jesse Zardes, gonna roll it in. The perfect ending.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.